What's going on, the friends? My name is M23 and welcome back to an episode of The Legend of Zelda, The Wind Waker for the Nintendo Wii U. We're all up last time. We got started with our quest of finding Triforce shards, and now in this part, well, we're still gonna do that, but there is actually a lot that we can actually do in between our search with that. So, I'm gonna do this is for the next several videos from now. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be several videos. I'm not too sure about that, but I'm actually gonna be visiting pretty much the whole map. I'm starting off from Dragon Roost, and then I'm gonna go down in a path. Okay, actually, let me go ahead and see if I could pop up a map real quick, just so I could probably show off what I'm basically trying to talk about. So let's see. Okay, so basically, what I'm trying to do is I am trying to go from Dragon Roost Island, which is the sixth column and second row of the sea charts. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to be taking a downwards path from the map, then taking a left, and then it's gonna bring me to a path where it's gonna and the path that I'm gonna be taking will eventually take me to the Forsaken Fortress. It sounds really complicated and confusing, or at least the way I just described it. But I have notes right next to me as I'm recording this video. And I will basically explain everything that I will basically talk about everything that I'm doing. Start off with me going into the submarine right here. The submarine is actually in the flight control platform square. So near the flight control platform, I stumble upon the submarine. Where it has these imps. You have to kill a bunch of them. You don't have to. I believe you just have to kill a bunch of them, and then you get something. And then for your reward for that is a platform chart. As you can see on screen, that's what the platform chart looks like. Because I can't show on the map, so I have to. So I will show on screen what the platform chart looks like. The platform chart will basically show you where all of the platforms are. I've actually demonstrated what a platform is pretty early on the Let's Play, but I didn't go over it in full detail. Now I'm going to go over it in more detail right now, as I'm actually going to be making my way to a platform right now. Some of these platforms are actually pretty interesting. So these platforms contain, most of these platforms contain cannons, bomb cannons, where they shoot, where they try to shoot bombs at you as you're while you're sailing through the Great Sea. There's also enemies that are looking through platescopes. Majority of the enemies are bokoblins, but I mean, some platforms have other enemies that are other than bokoblins, but this platform has bokoblins. That's actually pretty fun. It's pretty funny, like, fighting these enemies on the platforms, because you can actually, like, as you can see right there, I just destroyed one off the edge, and so he's gonna just go and drown, which is a shame. And you know, it makes me wonder, like, how these bokoblins even get up to these platforms. Like, do they even have boats to even like get up to get to these places? And it's like, even if they do, it's like well, their transportation is just like left them behind, like, to just die pretty much. But yeah, it's a pretty sad job if I tell you there. But yeah, so this platform that I just went up to had a treasure chart. So that one was one of the platforms that was worth going through. Some of them will contain important items like that, treasure charts, heart pieces. Some of them can contain some pretty useless items, which can be a shame. Which I will, but thankfully, what I have done before recording this video, was actually take notes on what I wanted to do, and kept track of basically what everything contained, so that's worth going through. At least when I went through my practice file. When I went through my practice file, I did take notes of what everything contained, so I can make sure I can go for those, and any platform that didn't contain anything useful, I wasn't going to show off at all. Yeah. So that was it was a lot of note taking. What I did was, wow, that was actually some unfortunate luck right there that I just ran into. Those cannons. This is the reason. So I showed off in the on the previous platform that I explored that you can actually blow up these bomb cannons by placing a bomb on top of where the bomb cannons are, and they'll explode. So that way, the next time that you go past that platform, there will be no bomb cannons getting in your way. So this is the point. So when I got shot there, I was like, okay, you're gonna play like that, I'll play like that. So I just decided to blow up all these bomb cannons here, so that way on my second attempt, these things won't give me any problems. But after blowing up all those bomb cannons, a treasure chest appeared. That hasn't happened in my practice attempt because I didn't bother blowing up these bomb cannons because I didn't think they were gonna be a problem until when I recorded the video. But of course, it didn't really contain anything useful, so I just decided to. So I just decided to buy it too. So it wasn't really worth it. Yeah. By the way, I'll talk about that later. So yeah, there was a lot of note taking when I recorded when I recorded this. This is basically a lot to show. There's a lot to show, and actually this video is a lot of editing. As you can probably tell. So as you can see, this platform is pretty. These two platforms were pretty useless. They were. There was a gold feather and a Bokobaba seed. Both aren't that useful at this point in the game, so I don't know. It's just but that was just one of those platforms that was useless. But I went for those anyway. Those weren't actually on my sheet here, but oh well. It's whatever. So anyway. Of course, I didn't record this all in one setting. Otherwise, that would take like a total of maybe 6 hours or something like that, and that would be a long time. That would be a lot, and of course a lot of space. And that's quite a lot for the hardware to handle. Because I've mentioned early on that like in the very beginning of the Let's Play that I am using a new capture card, and so with this capture card, I can't record very long videos, even though I have been for every video of the Let's Play. But recording long videos takes up a lot of space, so I can't really afford to do that very often. So what I did was record 7 islands at a time. This video I did go through 7 islands and show off everything that these 7 islands contain, and stop the recording, take a break for the day, and then once I feel ready to record the next 7 islands, that's what I did. Of course, yeah. I didn't do this all in one single day. The next video is the next video was recorded pretty much 4 days after this video. So that's basically what's going on here. Alright, so here on this island, this is, I believe, Bird Peak Rock. Bird Peak Rock is actually a really important island that you want to go into. because there's actually a really important item that's actually mandatory for completing the game. By the way, this is a little interesting fact. This is actually the point of the game where most casual Wind Waker players give up in playing the game, because in the last episode we got something called Triforce Shards. Now, this is actually a big difference between HD and SD. And of course, in the HD version, I got Triforce Shards. In the SD version, well, in the SD versions, there are 8 treasure charts in the entire game that you have to find. You have to find all 8 of them, and the game does not tell you where they are. Actually, well, actually, yes, they do. There's the incredible chart actually tells you where all the Triforce charts are. In this version, well, no. Let's get no. So yeah, there are 8. So there are 8 treasure charts. You have to find them all. Some of them can be a pain in the butt to look for, which I guess is what discourages people. What discourages the casual Wind Waker players from playing the game. And well, after that, you have to. Well, you can't really. The Triforce charts aren't ordinary charts, and you'll see why once I actually pick one up. In this version, in this version they took away most of those Triforce charts and replaced them with additional treasure charts. So in the SD version, there were a total of 44 treasure charts in the game. In the HD version, which is the version which is the version of this walkthrough, there are 49 treasure charts, which means there's 5 additional treasure charts that I have to find, which is quite a pain. So, well, I mean, in a casual perspective, that's actually not that big of a deal, especially for people who just want to complete the game. So I don't know. But I will guarantee you guys that I will not let the quest for looking for Triforce charts discourage me from continuing this game. I promise. I will play this game up to the very end. So anyway, now that we're done with that, in Bird Peak Rock, since I was too busy talking about all that stuff, in Bird Peak Rock, you have to. This is actually the first time of me showing what the Huey pair does, and the Huey pair attracts a seagull, and you can take control of a seagull. And so what you have to do for this island is have a seagull hit all of the switches that are on top of these peaks on this island. Now that can be really painful because the birds on this island can really ruin your day. So what I did do before I used my Huey pair was get rid of the birds. Well, I got rid of all except for one because one of them was really hard for me to hit. I mean, if you don't get rid of the birds, then you're gonna have a hard time trying to get all the switches, and you don't have to hit all the switches all in one go. You just have to hit the switches once, but sometimes that can be painful because a bird can puppy guard a switch, and then you have to do some crazy maneuvering around the birds to make sure that you don't get yourself hit. Because when you get hit, then you lose control of the seagull, and so you have to use another Huey pair. And that can really suck, especially if you don't have many Huey pairs to work with. But thankfully, I had a bunch of Huey pairs before heading over here to this island, so that it wasn't such a big deal. Now the item that we got in Bird Peak Rock is a Triforce chart. That is the first Triforce chart that I just obtained. if this was the SD version, this would be maybe the third or fourth Triforce chart that I would have picked up with the route that I've been taking throughout the Let's Play. So that's that is of course as I mentioned, another big difference between HD and SD. So different for those two to be considered pretty much their own games. Well, I mean, they've been their own games. Well, of course they're considered their own games anyway. But it's like they're both like what I really like about HD and SD is that like the differences between the two versions are enough so that you can they're two like completely different playthroughs of the game, which is really cool. So anyway, so what a Triforce chart does, since this is my first one, of course, as I said, they're not ordinary charts out of all the charts that we've been picking up. If you actually take a look at the Triforce chart right now, well, you can't even look at it. So that means you have to have somebody. You have to find somebody who could read these charts, so that way you can figure out what these charts do. And of course, as you might imagine from the name Triforce chart, these are very mandatory charts that you have to obtain if you want any progression with the game at all. So that's that can, of course, that's the most pain in the butt part of the game. Now, by the way, getting these Triforce charts to be interpreted so that you could actually make use of these is not easy, especially in the SD version.